very spiritual place if you've not been. I encourage you to visit. And I ran, it was a little after 6 a.m., I arrived at the library steps and I sat down. And I was overlooking the park, and there were about 20 homeless people in this park. And some of them were still sleeping, some of them had just started to wake up, some were sitting on benches. And my eye was caught by this one older gentleman who was seated on a bench. And he had this scraggly, unkept hair, torn, dirty clothes, and he had these sad, broken eyes. And I had run there, so I had nothing on me except for my phone. I had no money, no debit card. But I decided I was going to go sit down next to him anyway. And I sat down, and I looked at him, and I said, "Good morning." And he looked at me, and he smiled, and he said, "Good morning. Have you gotten a cup of coffee yet?" I said, "I have not gotten a cup of coffee, and I would love to get you a cup of coffee, but I ran here, I don't have anything on me." And he smiled at me again, he said, "It's okay." And I had nothing to give him. Nothing but my broken self. And so I sat there, and I listened. And I learned all about Edward, who had a very tough childhood. Edward, who loved music, especially the blues. Edward, who would love to turn his life around if he could just save up a little extra money to make that happen. Edward, who was hoping he could go to a church service later that morning and sit in the back and not be asked to leave. Edward, who just needed someone to listen to him, to sit with him in his pain and his brokenness, to love him through it. And so I sat there for about 45 minutes, and when it was time to leave, I gave Edward a big hug, and I said, "Edward, I will not ever forget you. And I never will." There is a beauty in our brokenness. And if you have arrived broken this morning, don't miss the gift. I know it is hard. I know you're exhausted. I know you want the pain to stop. I know you want to go back to the normal that you knew 5 minutes ago. But while you're in the midst of being broken, make sure you are being beautifully broken. And so I want to leave you with this one last story. My mother died after a hard-fought battle with cancer in the year 2000. And when she got to the end of her fight, she wanted to die at home. She wanted to be surrounded by the things that she loved. And her only request is she didn't want to die by herself. And so we all took shifts, sitting around her bed and being there with her. And I always took the midnight to 6 a.m. shift. And I would sit with her in her pain and brokenness, and I would watch her sleep. And I would stare out the window, and it was dark. And it was pitch black. And it felt like it was never going to end. But I would keep staring out that window, because at 4:40 a.m. every dawn, a thin red line would appear along the base of that darkness. And I would wait for it every dawn. Because that red line meant that there was hope. That the sun would soon rise, that light would overcome the darkness, and that joy would soon overcome the pain. I wish I could tell you that you're not going to be broken in this lifetime, but I can't. But what I can tell you is that 4:40 a.m. always comes eventually. That light overcomes the darkness, and beauty will always be there in the midst of your brokenness. Be beautifully broken for someone else.